The drama of the national championship continuing. Tied 10-10 in game 2. Lewis went on an 8-1 scoring run with great play and big blocks at the net. Lewis led 22-12, but BYU came back behind Rafael Paul and got to within 24-22. Slabe was not as big a factor as he was in game 1. And when it was over, Lewis had its first win in the final. So the fans take a quick break. 44-42 BYU, 30-27 Lewis. We welcome you back to the Pyramid. Chris Marlowe and Heather Cox, great crowd on hand. And after a couple of games, the kills and the blocks just about even. Both teams hitting well now, Heather?
Yeah, and I think the hitting percentage for Lewis has been the difference. This match has been so even, but hitting .342. Lewis leads the nation in hitting percentage all season long, but BYU, one of the best blocking teams, so it's a battle of defense versus offense.
The first time in 34 years that no California team has played in the final. The BYU Cougars, not a traditional volleyball power, but in the last 10 years, they have made great strides to become the top volleyball program in America. And Lewis University, the new kid on the block,
will go and dry his fingers after that. That is just a case of the volleyball actually being wet from the passing. You know, it bounces off those forearms and it gets
I tell you what, J.R. Martins serving up a spinner there. He's sopping wet. Maybe put a little on there. Nice up by Elsie, who played very well in game 2. Mareto puts it away. Normally, the longer a match goes, the sweatier things become. As a setter, you have to tighten it up, Heather. Do the tighten up with your hands. Make sure it does not go through.
And you've really got to keep it clean. I mean, so often you'll see setters with towels in their shorts just in order to keep their fingers dry.
Yeah, you never wipe off the ball if it's wet if you're serving. But if you're getting the ball back, then you can ask for a dry towel. There is a towel up by Marvin Hall to wipe the ball off if needed. There it is. But Marvin hasn't chosen to employ it quite yet. Here comes Chris Gorney. Elsie is blocked. 2-1 Lewis. And over the net, back row attacker. Can you explain that rule?
Each position, you're either in the front row or the back row. Right now, Carlos Moreno is in the back row, which is behind this 3-meter line. Anytime in those rotations that you're behind that line, you cannot attack the ball.
An ace for Gustavo Mayer. His second.
Great topspin. Watch the wrist rotation. That's what gets it to drop. And that's the old hubby wife, the H&W, no communication.
Lewis serving better. BYU passing not as good as it was in game 1. We're starting to see some shanks and not all perfect passes. Pessoa is still passing beautifully, but the other two guys are not.
Pessoa is the best passer in the nation, no questions asked. So if you're Lewis, you have to keep the ball away from 17.
John Alleman serving. Nice pass by Solar. And out of the back line, the pipe area comes Mayer, and Slabe tees off. Luca.
Gotta love Slabe pushing Carlos aside and said, hey, buddy, you're a setter. I'm hitting this ball.
He has one more year of eligibility, but he told us he's not coming back next year.
Making the most of his time. Watch right there is where he pushes Carlos away and says, my ball.
Yeah, he said he was going to go to Europe and play ball. He's going to graduate in the fall. 5-3 our score. Here's a good look at Luca Slabe.
Speaks 5 different languages.
Yeah, his English is outstanding. Yeah. Tried to jam was Moreno. Pessoa bump. Oh, that's bad. And he bumped it right out of bounds. So the first mistake for Fernando Pessoa.
And that's a situation as a libero. He could not use his hands to set that ball. You cannot set an attacker, so he had to bump set it.
And Elsie flies one long. So make it 6-4. Dave Deusser, he was a setter when he was a player. And he readily admits, I'm a good setting coach. We like to run the offense. I'm not the greatest blocking coach. but he runs the attack, good defense.
But I think he's a great tactician.
Yeah.
I love the way he plays his matches. It's almost like a chess match. Great X's and O's coach.
And he's an outstanding recruiter, which is a lot of the battle is recruiting.
And you see he spends a lot of the time really fine-tuning, studying his notebook, studying his scouting report, and 20-plus wins in all but one season that Lewis has had a volleyball program. That is just spectacular.
Fabiano with the serve, and straight down goes Michael Burke. So Michael Burke with the kill. He's got 8. Paul leads the Cougars with 12. Alleman has 10.
And Burke just continues to be the picture of efficiency. So consistent. It's just been a go-to guy throughout.
Off the head of Gorney. Cushiony. Here comes Slave. And Slave gets the drive. Luca the Bazooka Slave.
And very rarely will you see them use him as a back row attack. Again, he's a back row player, so he must attack in the yellow portion of the court. And usually you see the right side, really the big go-to guys doing that, but instead Moreno showing his confidence in the little guy.
7'6". He's little by volleyball standards, 6'1". Baseball player to be considered large, living large. Ball spiked in, says referee Marvin Hall. And now Jeff Soler will have it. Barreto has 13 kills, Mayer with 12. Those are the 2 big guns. 8-6 is our score. If you're not familiar with Lewis University, 4,400 students in NCAA Division II school in Romeoville, Illinois. Southwest of Chicago, about a 30-minute drive.
And only about 15,000 people in the entire city of Romeoville, so.
And they've only won one other national championship. I was told it was when they were in Iowa. They won a national championship in baseball 3 years, 74, 75, and 76. They were second in Division II softball in 2001. So this would be the biggest athletic moment in Flyer history if they could pull this one off. Spike out of bounds, and we'll tie up at 8.
Suddenly, Lewis has lost the gift of the topspin. They've got a serve that flew long, a hit that flew long, and that's just a case of not snapping your wrist to get that topspin to get the ball to drop.
8-8, game 3. Moreno. You know, if Moreno goes cold, serving-wise, if he can't get his serve in, BYU will struggle because he has the big heater there.
Yeah, this has proved to be the best point-scoring rotation for the Cougars. The other plus is Moreno's now in the back row, so setting a 3-hitter attack.
And the jump serve for Miller. That's about the only thing Miller has not done well in this match is serve the ball. He's had 2 float serve errors and a jump serve error. Dave Doiser talking to his big man.
And I think you begin to, you know, the problem is you can't have Ryan Stuntz come in and serve because as a libero, he's not allowed to serve. So Dave Doiser doesn't have many options.
Off the head of Slave.
Back row attack. That's a great call. Barreto had his toe on the line.
Jay Slave getting a little pink on that one. He got it right in the mug.
Watch his toe, whether or not it touches that white line there, right there with his left foot. He's got to stay completely behind the 3-meter line as a back row player. Now in the front row, he can go wherever he wants.
BYU, Gorney hit it out. Chris Gorney hit it out. And it's 10-10. Lucas face, he got an early trip to the beauty parlor, a facial in game 3, had his arms, and he's still wiping it off. Serving is Martins. Nice up, Alleman. Luca keeps it in play. Set left, and the rejection. Chris Gorney there.
And you can see why national team coach Doug Beal likes Chris Gorney. Look at the athleticism. The lateral movement, then turns and pikes, gets the perfect blocking position. He picks up the ball, then instantly focuses in on the hitter. As a blocker, you want to watch the hitter's shoulder and not the ball to get the perfect block.
Gorney gives BYU a 1-point lead. Nice set, Martins. and BYU touched the net.
Martins continuing to try and sophisticate the Lewis offense, bringing the outside hitters in, trying to run some combos, some crossing plays to make BYU's block less effective.
388 during the year. Jose Martins should get some credit for that. He is the setter. Whoa, what a set to Michael Burke. Moreno to Burke.
And not very often do you see the setter get pulled away. Look at how far away Moreno is from the zone that he wants to be in. You normally only see that attack on a perfect pass.
Moreno has such a beautiful release. The ball comes out of his hands so clean and so fast. Into Elsey, he whiffs it. Going over the top is Solar. We mentioned the jumping ability of Solar. He touches 11 feet 6 inches. That's higher than Karch Karai ever did. Karch Karai's best was 11.5 1/2. Of course, Karch only 6'3", Solar 6'6".
Moreno making the signals. That 5 was a middle set to Burke. You saw when he uses the numbers, it's a quick middle attack. Before every serve, he'll turn and face all 3 of his teammates. The 2, that 1 is that back row attack. The 2 is to Burke. The left hand, that 1 is the back row pipe. There's the pipe.
And that's out. Alleman hit it out. And Lewis at 14-12.
And so now Moreno will rethink things. He's only got 2 hitters. He's a front row attacker, so that's why he's only making 2 calls. Burke gets the 2. Alleman gets the back row.
And the serve into the bottom of the net for Elsey.
13 serving to 14.
14-13. Elsey goes out. That means Ryan Stuntz is back in. And Dave Dozier wearing the same lei he had around his neck on Thursday night, the lucky red lei.
Yeah, this is a superstitious team. They also decided to wear the same jerseys, did laundry last night in order to do that.
The pound. Yeah, laundry at the Stuntz house after a tri-tip steak dinner. So Lewis gets another point, and there's an official timeout. BYU winning game 1. Lewis, game 2. The battle for the national championship continuing here at the Pyramid. National championship continuing. We're tied at 1 game apiece. Don't miss the Supercross season finale as defending series champ Ricky Carmichael looks to hold off a charging Chad Reed in the 250cc championship. That battle tomorrow at 2 Eastern and 3 Pacific. Only on ABC. Right now, we're on ESPN2 along with Heather Cox. I'm Chris Marlowe. Lewis starting to play a little bit more consistently, and BYU making some little errors.
Yeah, they're making mistakes at the net when they've got one-on-one, which should be an instant kill. They're hitting it out, hitting it into the block. Lewis's offense has gotten quicker and therefore more effective.
Nice block by Burke. I mean, Mayall went out very early. Do you anticipate him coming back into the match soon?
Well, only if they need him. I think Lucas Labe has done a nice job. Jaime Mayall, 4 kills and 15 swings. He's just not getting the efficiency that an outside hitter needs in a championship match.
15-14, quick set. Smacking it off Thorny. Here's Kevin Miller.
What a difference. Now, Lewis's middle blockers have combined for 11 kills. Don't forget, after game 1, they had just 1 kill combined. A big difference.
The put away for Paul.
Split the scene for points. Going to the Cougars. 58-16.
16-15.
Carlos Moreno back to serve for the Cougars.
Set is Moreno. He missed his last jumper. Very effective in game 2. Is his jump serve losing effectiveness? Let's judge right here. Good pass by Stuntz. Dig by Slave.
Great set.
Paul hit it into the antenna. Now, Rafael Paul, an erratic hitter. He only hit 269 on the year. He had 342 kills, but he also had 139 hitting errors, so sometimes he can whack them out.
But I think this match so far, other than that last error, he has been a positive for Tom Peterson. 12 kills, hitting 333, well above his season average. 20
hitting errors for BYU. All popped up, that's okay. Miller sets, Mayer, and Mayer chops line. Chopping.
How about that? 3 blockers up, and Mayer still finding a way to get it through the block.
13 kills for Mayer. Lewis up by 3.
And BYU continues to give the Lewis attackers line. What they're doing is they're blocking angle, they're taking the percentages, but I think they need to adjust a little bit.
Good serve by Miller, and a slam dink. Now remember, Miller had trouble serving. A couple floaters went out, a jump serve went out, and another serve, as you say, you're holding up 4 fingers like he's got 4 missing. All right, I get the picture.
Trying to give you a little nudge.
Yeah, Miller time working at the moment. And a timeout called by BYU. So Tom Peterson, Sean Patchell, and Grayson DeVos, the coaching staff, they got to figure out something quick. The Cougars are trailing. Some of the volleyball fans here at the Pyramid on the campus of Long Beach State University. NCAA Men's Championship continuing. Lewis seems to be in control of the match right now. We're tied 1 game apiece, but Lewis leading here in game 3. And they are putting some pressure on BYU. BYU after a taut game 1 that Lewis could have won, but didn't. BYU pulling it out 44-42. Lewis rebounding in game 2. And leading here in game 3. Rafael Paul will serve it. Tell you what, the serving efficiency of BYU in this game has not been good.
No, Thursday in the semifinal win against Penn State, again, 16 aces, 19 errors. They certainly haven't served with that kind of consistency along with the velocity tonight.
20-16. Set left, Slabe blocked. Moreno sucks it up, but it's over and out.
And an incredible one-on-one block by Fabiano Barreto. As a hitter, if you just have 1 blocker up, you have the advantage. But instead, watch Barreto. Elsie gets faked out. Barreto drops his left hand at the last second, blocking off Slabe. Oh, yeah. Always feels so good. I think that's the best feeling in all of volleyball, is to get a one-on-one stuff block.
Just slap the floor. Jaime Mayol comes back in for Slabe. If you're wondering if he replaces Paul, no, he doesn't. And a big block by Gustavo Mayer.
One-on-one again. Now, Chris, what Lewis has done is they're committing more in the middle. James Elsey is staying in the middle. That leaves Mayer solo, just one-on-one.
Beautiful.
And you can get away with that when you have pin blockers like Mayer and Barreto.
Yeah, who can get over the net and move their hands. Into the middle. Bad set that time. Elsey guides it over. 22-16 Lewis. And Mayol puts it away. How tough is it for Mayol after going out and waiting out for 3/4 of an hour?
Well, it can't be tough. He has got to be focused. Hopefully he took advantage of the time on the bench to read the Lewis setter, get a feel for his hands, and really get a sense for the tempo of this game.
If you're wondering, Slabe, under the rules of collegiate volleyball, yes, he can come back in. That's the first time out for him. And spiking it down the line is Mayer.
Yeah, you can only have 1 entry, and an entry doesn't count if you start in the game. So you can come back out if you were a starter, and then you can re-enter once. Only 6 substitutions per game per team, though. Much different than the women's game of 18 substitutions.
23-17. Moreno sets left. And Mayol is blocked.
BYU is having a breakdown in passing, Chris. So Moreno is forced to go high outside. That's a predictable offense. I mean, watch how far Moreno is forced off the net. It gives Lewis plenty of time to get 2 solid blockers up.
So Lewis in command at the moment, leading 24-17. Dave Doiser, of course, the man who started the program, has built the program and taken it to this point. And a little earlier we asked him how much it would mean to win it all. This is what he said.
It would just be a great source of pride for our community. Lewis is in a small town outside of Chicago, even though the metropolitan area is fairly large. Romeoville's a small town, and Lewis is a very family-oriented community. And I just think it would be a great source of pride and accomplishment for the people, the administration, and everybody involved.
3rd appearance, lost both to UCLA. First appearance in the championship. And of course, Emotional year for Mrs. Dozier. Jackie, losing her husband October, just at the start of training camp.
And Dave has his entire family here for support. His sisters, Valerie and Jennifer, here. His brother, Jamie. Yeah, that's the Dozier family.
Oh, yikes.
It's a proud bunch.
Yikes. We got some gruesome-looking fans there, folks. No other way to say it.
I talked to Dave Dozier before this match, and Hawaii and BYU are kind of considered the #1s throughout the season. Dave Dozier played Hawaii twice early in the season, lost both times, won an 0-3 sweep, one of them 1-3, and he said, you know what, I think BYU is even better than Hawaii, so certainly feeling the role of the underdog here today.
Pretty good up there. And the put away for Burke. Yeah, you got to get the ball in the middle. I agree, Heather, all the way. Just as Lewis wasn't setting their middles earlier, BYU's gone away from that too.
And Burke has been money. They've gone away from it because they haven't been getting the passes. But Moreno has gone to the middle every time he can. Gordy and Burke have combined for 17 kills so far.
Over the top, nice dig by Alleman. Nice by Stunts. And Elsie throws it down on the line. The president of Lewis University, there he is, brother James Gaffney. Lewis University president making the trek from Romeoville. And a very interested president. I wonder if his heart's beating 70, 80 beats a minute, Heather. And the big blast, very nice. So BYU gets it back. BYU trailing by 6. BYU hitting just 0. Let me get this, .043. So low I can't even read it.
And basically what that means,
bad hitting.
Yep, really bad hitting. More errors than kills in this game.
Nice up, Pessoa. Scoop left Paul. Stunts may have hurt himself. Ryan Stunts fell down and may have hurt himself. He just collapsed in the backcourt.
And that would be huge. He has really lifted this team, a good sign that he is getting up, but pointing to the ground that it was a wet spot. This floor is called a sport court, and it's tremendously giving on the joints, but it does get slick. Watches Stunts transitions to defense. Yeah, he's supposed to be in your screen, but he's not because he fell down.
There he goes.
Right there, just hits a wet spot, and that's scary.
So Stunts will shake it off. Anytime you slip, you can slip and slide on any kind of surface, especially when players are getting wet and their shirts are dripping.
Yeah, in a sport like volleyball, you spend so much time on the ground, groveling, diving, rolling for balls that the floor gets wet in a hurry.
26-19, Lewis in command. And the BYU attack, they're getting a little frustrated now.
And that's a great call by Marvin. That's a 4 contact. Volleyball, of course, you get just 3 contacts. If it doesn't touch the block and bounces back onto your side, that's 4. And Marvin giving a little shake of the finger. That's just a bit of a warning to the fiery, emotional BYU team.
25 hitting errors for BYU. And they're going to take...
Wow. Moreno is getting subbed out. Casey Peterson, the backup setter, is coming in, and I think Coach Peterson wants a few words with his emotional Brazilian setter.
So it looks like Patterson is going to set. Let's see what he can do. Things are going bad. You know, you switch the setter, as we've detailed many, many times.
Well, all season long, Casey Patterson has been a serving specialist. Yes, he's the second setter, but he's gotten very little playing time as the quarterback of this team.
No other way to say it. The route is on. 28-19. The Flyers are hammering BYU. Pancake no good. BYU gets the ball back. So Tom Peterson changing. Boy, when you have to take out Moreno, you know things are going bad. So Slabe out, Moreno out, Pessoa out.
And the interesting thing is, Tom Peterson didn't spend a whole lot of time chit-chatting with Moreno when he got pulled. Moreno went straight to the bench, sat down.
You know, it's a deflated-looking Cougar team. You know, we've talked about the emotion. When they're riding good emotion, yes, it's good. But when things go down,
there's not a whole lot of happy medium. It's either very high or very low.
Stunts with the pass. Over the top, yes. Kevin Miller chalks up a kill. And now the first game point in game 3. Technically, they will have 9 of them, but you want to get them done quickly if you can. Bad pass. Okay, set. And Paul smokes one on the line. Stunts. Positioning. Not good there.
And now Lewis has the advantage in volleyball. Always the advantage when you're on serve receive because you have the first offense opportunity, the first chance to terminate the ball.
Casey Patterson will serve it. Big serve. Should be a point. Oh, Gorney missed it and fell down. Right side, Alleman. And Alleman is under, and that's the end of game 3. Lewis wins it 30-21.
And we are seeing in this game why Lewis has been #1 in the country all season long in offense. We saw much better quick attack, much more balanced, and better ball control from the Lewis Flyers.
The reaction of the Flyer bench on game point. The little school that could is doing it right now. Lewis is ahead.